Okay, we are online on YouTube. My goodness, the warfare that broke out against this. I mean, it was crazy. Yesterday went live on Instagram. Apparently, Instagram did not save it, or nobody could see it, or whatever. And then I was just in here for the better part of about 30 minutes or so, trying to get this to go to Instagram. I guess Instagram, the powers of Instagram said no, not again. They just actually shut down. They would not give me passage. And so I started to wrestle with YouTube, and blessed be the God of heaven, we have prevailed. So we so I don't even know what to tell you, YouTube. I would say get the rest of it on Instagram, but it's not there anymore. It's not there. So this is Deliverance December, our second session of Deliverance December. We're talking about demons. If you're not familiar with Deliverance December, I do this every year. I started last year, and God woke me up early with the late part of November, rather, and reminded me to do this again this year. So I had a lot of other things going on my plate, but move some things around. And so because of that, I cannot promise I'm going to come to you at a specific time every day, but we will be on some platform somewhere talking about the ministry of deliverance, how to get free, stay free, and set the captives free. So let me go into my chat here to see who is all here. Joe Overton is here. Anybody else in the chat? Maybe it's just a bad time. I'm not surprised whenever I get on talking about demons. Let me tell you something. The most contested conversation I ever have on any public platform is always about the ministry of deliverance. Demons can't stand it. I mean, they really are in an aggressive hatred against the ministry of deliverance. They don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to get free of it. They don't want you to they don't want to be exposed. Remember, demons are creatures of the dark. The last thing they want is light anywhere near them. So whenever you start bringing teaching, doctrine, instruction, revelation, insight, concept, strategies on how to pluck them up out of their stronghold, you can expect every type of resistance known to man. I'm telling you, one of the things that Paul says, he said that there's the prince of the powers of the air. The prince of the powers of the air. And let me tell you, when it comes to airwaves, Wi-Fi, technology, there are demonic princes assigned to gatekeep the realm of the air, to bar and to shut down and to censor any type of information going out over the airwaves that might set people free. So, you know, if your phone starts to shut off, if your Wi-Fi goes wonky, if people keep calling you in the stream, I'm not surprised. It happens almost without fail. So just stick with it, persevere, and you will prevail. That's another secret of deliverance. Persevere and you will prevail. So I'm not surprised that we're hitting this level of contention and resistance, but nevertheless, here we are. Hey, listen, this is what I meant to talk to you, Nina, about, and it missed my mind today during our debrief. But why don't we initiate a Book of Psalms donation? A Book of Psalms donation. What does that look like? A Book of Psalms donation is when you give according to the verse that you're standing on. Maybe you're standing on Psalms chapter 23 verse 6, but then you give $26.06. Maybe you're standing upon Psalms 104, so you're giving $100.04. Whatever you feel led to do, whatever you're standing on in the Book of Psalms, why don't you make a commitment to that and give a donation there to help us keep bringing stuff like this to you. Listen, we discussed a little bit about demons yesterday. As I said before, if you were not on that stream live, and apparently not a lot of people are on there live, I don't know if I don't necessarily think that Instagram shadow ban me, but when I think of something means shadow ban, I think demons are involved. Shadows and banning something, that's something demonic. And I have no doubt that the censoring and the obscurity around my video was due to demonic initiatives that were launched against our assignment. But hey, we're going to plow through. But yesterday we began a conversation on demons, right? And so we're going to continue that. Remember, Deliverance December is all about, up and out. It's all about getting set free, staying free, and how the practical steps to set other people free. I believe that you, the chosen, are called to be deliverers in your generation, right? I believe that you are called to set the captives free. As a matter of fact, one of the signs that the Messiah had come, he said that I have come to preach the gospel to the poor and to set the captives free. And so if you believe that you are anywhere near Christ consciousness or Christ likeness, see, the New Age loves to take those terms, but they don't really want to put their money where their mouth is. Because if you tell me that you're Christ conscious, I'm going to ask you, do you cast out demons? And if you look at me funny and weird and strange, I know the New Age wants you to believe, oh no, don't cast out your demons. Get in bed with them and cuddle up to them and get to know your inner demons and work with your, no, baby, cast them rascals up out of your soul. Okay, all of that is demonic, what I want to call demonic, demonic marketing is what that is. Because the only people who integrate your demons, the only beings that benefit from you liking them are demons. It is a parasitic relationship. It's one-sided. It's one-sided. That is demonic propaganda. And you can tell people say, I got this from my spirit guide. Who? What spirit guide is? You just saying spirit guide. I mean, what is that? This is a spirit that's guiding you. I don't know who that spirit is. And your spirit guide telling me to, get at one with my demons. No, ma'am. Listen, I'm not that gullible. See, they look at you and they see that you're into the glitter and into the crystals, and you are a rainbow child. So they think you a dupe and a dummy. And they say, oh yeah, integrate your demons. No, you need to let the buck stop right there. You need to cast them rascals up out of there. Up out of there. You ought to notice something. Whenever you start talking about casting out demons, your stream acts up, you get shadow banned, your cell phone breaks down, you start itching, just all kinds of crazy manifestations. But when you talk about integrating them, nothing. Nothing. Now, some of you, I'm going to say some things. You call it being triggered, but really those are your demons manifesting. I know that's harsh, but let me tell you something. I'm here to help you. You don't have to agree with what I say. You can argue down if you want in the comments. That's fine. But let me tell you something. The people who want to argue with me on the front end and they want to give opinions or whatever, and they want to wrestle down semantics, be the same ones in my inbox saying, Doc, I'm struggling. Doc, I'm bound. Doc, I'm being tormented. Can you help me? Because your opinions don't scare demons. Your arguments don't move demons. The only thing that demons are moved by authority, not by arguments. Somebody put that in the chat. Demons are moved by authority, not by arguments. You can sit there and argue with me all day long. That's fine. You can stay bound. It's like those people who are in jail and screaming and arguing. That's fine, but you're still behind bars. Okay, so first of all, as we kind of pick up on yesterday, about demons, what is the origin of this? Where does this come from? Because we really need to, before we can understand the strategies of how to kick demons out and oust them, we first need to understand the origins of the whole conversation. Where is all of this rooted in? Because see, unless you understand the nature of demons, unless you understand their origin and their history, you'll never understand their strategies. You won't be able to detect them. You won't be able to discern them. Let me give you another tip of deliverance. You want to write this down. You want to put this in the chat. Demons play the long game. Somebody put it in the chat. Demons play the long game. And that's why a lot of people are ensnared by demonic infestation, because it was little by little over a period of time. Demons play the long game. That's another point I want to give you. Another point I want to give you is this. Demons are insidious. And until you hate it, you'll still be bound by it. I said again, not until you dislike or, until you hate it, you will be bound by it. There has to be an indignation against demons for you to fuel pushing them out. Now, something very interesting is that we know that demons' origins was in the angelic realm. We know that they had a celestial history. All right. We know they had a celestial history. What's often misconstrued is the difference between fallen angels and demons. Fallen angels are not demons per se. They're often lumped together and clumped together, but they are not one and the same. They're not one and the same. All right. And let's look at this in I'm gonna just give you good Bible, and because that's my script. If you wanted something else, then go to somebody who's not a prophet. But I know people, they get offended when you pull out that old Bible, and it's just because they black people who read the Bible like they're white, but that's a whole other conversation altogether different. Anyway, let's go to the someone asking, what is the difference? Follow me in the book of Genesis. Now, I'm hoping that you all are also signed up for our hoodoo movie night that we'll be having in about an hour or so. It's a family event, so bring the kids, bring your nieces and your nephews, gather them around. Everybody's in quarantine, everybody's sheltering in place. This is one of our community efforts. It's free of charge, everybody. We're going to be doing a live screening of the movie Disney's Princess and the Frog, and of course we will have live commentary and discussion after the movie is over. So I keep forgetting every Wednesday to buy popcorn. It happens it's been going on for 2 or 3 weeks now. I once had this very good popcorn, and I got it kind of by accident. I was kind of in a rush. Let me just put this in the cart, and it was so good. I wonder, Instacart still? Y'all excuse me. Let me see if Instacart. I don't know. They might be closed for the night. I don't know. Let me see if Instacart. But I'm in Genesis chapter 6. Follow me. Genesis chapter 6. And well, it ain't got to be them, but I just want Okay, yeah, they're all done for the day. Genesis chapter 6. Let's really look at this real good here. And I'm going to pull up one of my teaching aids as well. I've been doing deliverance for about consistently, I would say about 8 years or so. So you pick up a few things. You definitely learn some stuff. Yeah, I'm looking for one of these files here, and I wonder if it's in my other computer. Oh no, I got it. Here it is. Good and good. Good and good. That should be coming up. Okay, so Genesis chapter 6. We're continuing our conversation on demons. And let's look at this. Genesis chapter 6. It says this, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Now, I wonder if I can bring another application into this. Let's see if I can do that. Now, the two things that I use, one is free and one is paid. Let me tell you, I've been in ministry for quite a while. I've been studying the scriptures from a theological and a theurgical and a thaumaturgical perspective for years, and have a deep love for hermeneutics. And many of you now within ministry and that kind of thing. So you go through and you're looking for, as a minister, good resources, right? And let me tell you, I can, over the course of, I guess, while I was in ministry, probably close to $1,000 on trying to get good Bible resources. And when it was all said and done, I won't give you the whole story, but long story short, I found two resources. One was free that bested all of them, and the other one was paid that bested the rest of them. And that was eSword. God bless the people of eSword. Shameless plug. I hope they continue their work in perpetuity. You can get it on your phone. I think if you've got Apple, it may cost you like some $3.99 because Apple is, possibly demonic. But anyway, and you can get it on your desktop for free also. It's called eSword. And the other one I use, I don't know if you can even still get this. This is a very old software, but it is still very good. It'll cost you $7. It's called Power Bible CD. Power Bible CD. I think it cost you $7, and it's so old they got to send you the CD-ROM. But those two are my go-to. So let me see if I can pull up. Let me see if I can pull up. How would I do this? Let's see, y'all. I'm still learning all this software. So okay, I'm hoping that y'all can see that. Let me Genesis 6. Y'all let me know if you can see that. How do I do this? Let's see. Okay, let me move my caption out the way. Hide my caption. Okay, can y'all see that? Is that coming up okay on your screen there? I'm hoping that that works. You'll let me know in the chat if this is good and good. Because some of you have never had Bible study with me before, you know, and it shows. I'm joking. That's a joke, y'all. I'm just, you know, I'm not trying to be shade. Okay, I kind of am. But it shows y'all don't study the Bible with me. I can tell. But Nina will tell you there's a difference when you study with a prophet, and Brand and some of other students and God kids are in here. You know, people join my academy. They're like, there's a lot of Bible study. Yeah, it is. It's very likely that you're probably gonna be studying the Bible 4 hours in one given sitting. So, you know, if you're not used to that, if you're not okay with that, don't apply to be my apprentice, because you're gonna be very disappointed. I'm telling you right now. Okay. So, and I'm using the King James version here. We can look at some other versions if you like. And what you're looking at is the interlinear. Okay. So when you see in those letters and then numbers, for example, you may see H1 961. And it came to pass, and right there in purple it says H1 961. What that is speaking about is a entry key to a concordance, particularly Strong's concordance. All right, the H represents Hebrew. All right, so if you're looking at the Old Testament, predominantly in Hebrew, you'll see the H, we call it an H key. And if you're in the New Testament, it'll normally start with the letter G, meaning Greek, because the majority of the New Testament is in Greek. And then it will tell you that when you take all the words in the Hebrew Bible and list them alphabetically, this word appears as the 1961st entry. And so what we can do, we can hover over that, and it will, well, there we go. It will give us the Hebrew word and what that means in its root. You really want to study these languages in their original root. That's why I say all the time, a lot of Black people, this is my opinion. Go ahead and unsubscribe now. This is my opinion. All right, and I'm only speaking from the expertise of my own experience, is that Black people who have an issue with the Bible more than likely are reading it like they're white people. So, you know. Okay. So it came to pass, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. So there was a cap that God pronounced over natural human life at that point. And we're going to see all this. When you look in the flood, you'll see how all that happened. This is why the hyperbolic chamber is so effective in medical health. Because when man and humankind was created, we were created in somewhat of a pressurized environment. When we look back even at the prehistoric records, we see that animals, that the flora and the fauna grew a lot more massively. And it was because the atmosphere was a lot more compressed. So when you get to the book, when you get to the 7th and the 8th chapter of Genesis, when there is a flood, what happens is the windows of heaven open, releasing pressure, and the fountains of the deep are broken up, releasing pressure. And so there began to be a progressive decreasing in the stature, in the mass of both flora and fauna, right? And so when you put a human being, let's say they're in an infection, they've got a tumor, whatever the case may be, in a hyperbolic chamber, because they have the seed of Adam and Eve in them, they are Adamites, then their Adamite physiology is going to respond positively to being in a pressurized environment, because our roots were in a pressurized environment. Side note, you get that one for free. Give a donation. Now, it says there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of his thoughts and of his heart were only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, but repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. So let's break this down and crack this open. First of all, can I minimize this? Let me see. Can I if I minimize it, will y'all still be able to see? Okay, great. What happens if I minimize it? Okay, good. Y'all can still perfectly see. Okay, perfect. Good and good. I can put that over there. Y'all can, okay, wonderful. So when we look at the term the sons of God, all right, this word that we're looking at is B'nai Ha-Elohim, the sons of the Elohim, right? In Hebrew, ha is an article, like we would say the or a. So for example, you're looking in Genesis chapter 2, when God creates humankind, all right? A lot of people have these issues when it comes to gender and so on, because they're not looking at the Hebrew there. You have Adam, which is humankind. Then you have Ha-Adam, all right, or Ha-Adam, meaning the man. So out of humankind, a specific man is spoken of. So Adam can refer to the entire human race as a whole, or it can speak to a particular individual in that race, right? It's almost like saying men and that man, or women and that woman, or humankind and that human. So it is saying here that B'nai, meaning son, Ben means son, like Benjamin means son of the right hand. B'nai Ha-Elohim, the sons of the Elohim, did what? They saw the daughters of men. Now, there are many who want to suggest that the sons of God here are not referring to celestial beings. They're not referring to the heavenly citizenry. And of course, we can find countless reasons why it is. Those who want to, well, I won't go down that rabbit hole. I'm gonna be very nice tonight. But when we look at the phrase, the sons of God, this is not speaking of the human line of Seth. There are many who would say that what's spoken of here as the sons of God are the descendants of Seth that kept the laws that God gave Adam. This is, sounds good on paper, but it does not stand up to biblical scrutiny. All right. It does not stand up when we look at the phrase sons of God and where it also is referred to in the scripture. Okay. So what we are seeing here are celestial beings cohabitating, copulating, raping, really. Okay. There was some, we'll get into that, maybe not tonight, but maybe tomorrow. The daughters of men, and we'll talk about the alliance that was built between the terrestrial and the celestial really was a conspiracy. All right. All right. Notice, if we were talking about sons of God in the New Testament, then yes, we'd be talking about the new creation, certainly. But if we look at the phrase sons of God in the Old Testament, it only occurs 5 times. And every occurrence, it hints at something celestial, something heavenly, something supernatural, something maybe even eternal or immortal taking place. All right. For example, the first occurrence of the phrase sons of God we see here in Genesis chapter 6 verse 2, that the sons of God, the B'nai Ha-Elohim, the sons of the Elohim, saw the daughters of men. That was the first occurrence of the phrase the sons of God. Now, for those of you who may be theologians in your own right, some of you may have taken seminary or divinity, one of the laws of hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is a branch of science, basically deals with the proper interpretation of a text. Now, is most often used to refer to the Bible, but it can be used for any text. For example, there's, Shakespearean hermeneutics. You can look at any text and use the same hermeneutical principles on it. Of course, we get the word hermeneutics from Hermes, right? The Greek god of wisdom and knowledge and writing and things like that. So one of the principles for proper hermeneutics is called the law or the principle or the concept of first mention. And what that means is, if you're looking at, you can do hermeneutics on you're not unfamiliar with hermeneutics. You're just unfamiliar with it being called that. When you look online on YouTube and people are going through like Harry Potter books or The Handmaid's Tale, looking for clues and stuff, they're using hermeneutics to do that, right? There's a certain proper logic they're using to interpret that text, right? And so one of the principles is the law or the principle of first mention. Somebody write in the chat, first mention. The chat is real dry. Why y'all not talking back to me? Y'all, are y'all bored or you're taking notes or what's going on in that chat over? What's on the other side of my screen? What are y'all doing? I feel like Netflix. Are you still watching? Or y'all beating the bed? What you doing on the other side of my camera? Anyway, first mention, right? And the principle of first mention means that if you're looking at a concept, an idea, a noun, person, place, thing, or idea, right? And you're not quite sure what that means, then search the manuscript, search that text for the first time it was referred to. And whatever context is given, the first time it's referred to will set the tone for every other repeated concept of that term. So, for example, if you want to know if you look and you see the word sons of God anywhere in the Old Testament, we'll first find where that first showed up at, and then work your way from there. Okay, it will surprise people to know that meat in the Old Testament did not begin out as animal flesh, but I won't get on that bandwagon. I promise I won't. I'm gonna leave it alone. Just putting that there, parenthetical citation. So the second time we see the phrase the sons of God is verse 4. When the sons of God, again, B'nai Ha-Elohim, came into the daughters of men. So those are 2 of the 5 occurrences. Now, we can also look at Job. By the way, I'm using the platform. You guys can see I'm using eSword here. Job chapter 1. All right. And we can see here beginning at verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons, here we go again, the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. Okay, so as another clear indication that we're not just talking about human people or terrestrial individuals, because now we see another celestial being present, right? We see Satan, the Satan. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God, kids. Appearing. So that's the third time we see the phrase sons of God. Yeah, I know this is not sticks and stones and roots and bones. Doctor trying to get you free of your devils. I know that's not what you came to. I know you want to get a new oil recipe and all of that great stuff. We'll get to that later. But I really want to make sure that you're not, trying to put a candle on a demon. You know, I don't mind being offensive. I want you to be free. You can take all the uncrossing baths you want and still be demonized. Demons are not scared of your little bath. You can limp yourself down to the white come off the egg, and that's not gonna move your demons. You know, somebody coming to me for remedies for conditions, and maybe that's not a condition you demonize. That's the devil. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is. You know, and let me get off of that because see, I'm about to make my own self mad. Anyway, so the other occurrence we see is in Job chapter 21. Excuse me, chapter 2, verse 1. I apologize. Job chapter 2, verse 1. Here we go again. Again. So this is a separate occurrence from Job chapter 1 and 6. Remember, Job chapter 1 and 6, there was a day that the sons of God presented themselves. And I'm going to get into that in another topic about angels and celestial beings and how they gather and congress with God on a regular basis. This is why timing your prayers at certain times maximize their effectiveness, because angels and celestial beings have a time by which they gather the prayers and present them before God, and they convene on them. So normally I begin to pray when they're convening, so that my prayers, well, okay, let me not get too deep. Let me get that alone. That'll be a webinar later on down the road. Okay. But Job chapter 2, verse 1, again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. That would mean this: if the sons of God came and Satan also came to do the same thing they did, that must mean that the sons of God and Satan are of like or at least similar nature. Which would mean they are not terrestrial. All right. And I'll look at this again. So we looked at the first occurrences in Genesis. The first two occurrences are in Genesis. Here we see again occurrence number 3 is Job chapter 1, verse 6. Occurrence number 4, Job chapter 2, verse 1. And yet again, we see that in Job chapter 38. Now, let me just say as a side note, historically speaking, Job is the oldest book chronologically in the Bible. All right. Even though Genesis reveals the beginning of time. As far as being written down, it is not the first book to be written. When you look at the oldest book in the Bible, all right, would be the book of Job, which is very interesting. Okay. Job chapter 38. Job chapter 38. And by the way, y'all make sure that you sign up for our Hoodoo family movie night tonight in about 15-20 minutes or so. And also check out Hoodoo Bible study, where we do more and more of this stuff. But tonight's going to be Princess and the Frog, the cartoon. So you can gather your kids around. They won't be talking about pussy candles, I promise. And we'll also be having a conversation about the movie from a Hoodoo perspective. June says the book of Enoch, even the book of Enoch, if you look at the oldest copy of the book of Enoch, still does not predate the book of Job. I've looked at it, and second and third Enoch are highly spurious. They're probably, well, in my opinion, they are pseudepigrapha works. The only one that I think has scriptural authority is probably Enoch 1. And we see that quoted throughout. Jude quotes Enoch, Jesus quotes Enoch, and some other prophets do. First Enoch, that is. Okay, so here we see in Job chapter 38, the context for Job 38 is God is answering Job with questions. All right. And the goal of the question is to show his sovereignty, his superiority over Job's knowledge. When we look at something very interesting, it says here, Job chapter 38, verse 7, when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God. Well, let's go back. Let's start with verse 1 for context. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is that darkened? Who is this that darkened counsel by words without knowledge? Who's this saying stupid stuff? Basically what he's saying. Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and thou answer me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. So the first thing God asks is, where were you, Job, human, mortal, terrestrial Job, when I laid the foundations of the earth? In other words, when I put the axis in the planet, where were you at? Then he says, who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who hath stretched the line upon it? Who set the line of the earth, the equator, the measurements of the earth? Was it you? Notice all of these things he's asking him about predate human existence. Whether you are a creationist, whether you are an evolutionist, all right, we all agree that the earth was here before humans were here. But God is asking him, where were you when this happened? Where were terrestrial mankind, and you specifically, Job, when this happened? Verse 6, whereupon the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? It's talking about the orbit. The earth is fastened to a directionality. Did you set that in place? Were you there when that happened? No, you weren't. Notice this. It's rhetorical, obviously, but every answer is no, I was not there. Not only was I not there, no humans were there. All right. Humans were not there when the foundation of the earth was laid. Humans were not there when the earth was measured out. Humans were not there when the foundations of the world were fastened. He says, when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. So apparently, using context clues, the answer would also be no human beings were there. So thus, the phrase sons of God was not referring to terrestrial people, but to celestial beings. Did you get something out of this? Somebody drop in the chat one new thing you learned tonight. We're going to pick this up tomorrow, but let me know one new thing that you learned tonight. All right, let me place the our links here in the chat in case they don't come up for whatever reason. But here is my link chain. You can click on that and find all of the appropriate links regarding that. Yes, the book of Job is the oldest. How to sign up for our prophecy demonstration on Fridays, how to sign up for our movie night. You want to click that link. Okay, we'll be doing movie night tonight, and we'd love to have you. Also, how to keep up to date on the latest going ons with me and with the House of Zion, all of that great stuff. Wow, and wow. Okay, so we can go ahead and put the captions there. You can follow me on Instagram at Cosmic, literally. All right, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I think the name's on person who, well, the stream might be coming in a little bit slow on my end. I'm not surprised. Let me stop sharing that. And I will check you guys tomorrow. Hopefully Instagram will be working by then. Maybe not. I hold all of you in the light of God that never fails. God bless you forever.